P, there he is. It's just dropping your name. Who I think it was Justin who actually started our relationship with EarthQuaker. If I'm not, I believe that's right, Justin Paroff, you know? When that bag of EarthQuaker coffee showed up and the cool baseball jerseys, that was a very nice day. Hey, I'm Brendan Canning from Broken Social Scene. We're here at the Fonda Theater in beautiful Hollywood, California. I bounce around a lot with this group. Like, you know, if I'm not on Charlie's pedal rig, then I'm on Sam's rig. If I'm not on Sam's rig, then I'm on Kevin's rig over there. So I've sort of had to, you know, let go some, like, for instance, I don't have certain EarthQuaker pedals even with me on tour, like the Hoof Reaper, or the Phase Machine. Those are two ones I've used a lot over the years when I was touring with my solo thing. So now, you know, when I'm on Charles' rig, and I don't have the Disaster Transporter, second edition, the maroon, but, or I don't have the Park Sound with me either. So the Dispatch Master on Charles' rig here, and the Monarch. So I don't use the Monarch as much. Because I'm not playing too much overdrive guitar, I mean, I'm not too distorted on Charles' rig. If we pulled out a song where I really needed some more grit, I would probably hit the Monarch. But for the most part, the Dispatch Master, just because of the repeats, and I don't know, it's quite a unique little pedal. I've always loved this one just because the reverb and delay combo. It's its own thing. I mean, I'm not like a technical guy, but it's just always like the warmth of it and the sort of spaciousness of it has always worked for me. And it's got a telephone on it, so it's very pretty, for one. But I would use that like in a song like World Sick, maybe. It depends on how trippy the outro is getting. And then, you know, what my role in the band is, depending on what song we're playing, because, you know, you've got Sam playing guitar over here, you got Andrew playing guitar over there, you got Kevin playing, so we got 4 guitar players, and depending on how effecty someone's playing is, you know, then I'll roll in, you know, it's like, oh, they're laying back a little bit tonight, so I get to, you know, maybe I can step out and sort of turn the mix up on the dispatch just to get, you know, more of like the soundscapey thing. But so many of people in the band have that soundscapey neighborhood covered. It's a day-to-day thing with this band to try and like figure out what, like how effecty your guitars can be. Like for instance, on Sam's rig, the Dirt transmitter, I mean, that's, if we're playing Forced to Love and I actually get to flex a bit on lead guitar, and then so I will, you know, there's like this I would be using the transmitter on that. But that is an unwieldy beast. Like, you know, everyone, it's like, oh, you're too loud, turn down. You gotta be aware, because someone's gonna like fucking give you the side-eye glance, which you just don't want on stage. It's like, you're too loud, or, you know, Justin is behind saying, it's like, you're too loud. But you know, you got Kevin's rig over here, and there's no EarthQuaker pedals. I mean, he's so bare bones because everyone else has got their thing going on with so many effects. And even with reverbs live, I mean, you're playing in this big venue, so you got reverb already. And the amount of, like this one, the only weird one he's got on his rig is this Eventide, it's like a crystallizer or something. But yeah, in reference to like how reverby you want to get too, like our longtime sound man would always, you know, be like, hey, you already have natural reverb in the room, so you don't want to, you know, sort of have this wash, unless your sound is so washy. But once again, 4 guitar players, everyone's got to serve a specific role, depending on what song, depending on the looseness of the band. There's always that fine line of like the push and pull of how much you can stretch out a song and how far you can steer it to one side before someone else says, hey, you steered it too far in that direction. It's a challenge going from rig to just be like, okay, what new pedals have been added to the rig since the last time I was on it. I mean, it's different than it was 2 days ago. But that's the thing with this band too, always sort of like throwing different things into the mix just to keep it spicy. And there's been so many different EarthQuaker pedals like in everyone's rig over the past, whatever, like, I want to say 10 years. So that's this is stage left, or if, yeah, this is stage left. Yeah, that's how it works when you're on the left side of the stage. I never get that right. You think after 35 years of playing in bands. But stage right, out of sight, Andrew Whiteman, he's got his own situation going on over there. Occasionally I haven't been making my way over to that pedal station in a while, so he'll be the best one to explain what sonics are coming out on stage right.
So, stage right, out of sight, stage left, going deaf. That's one of the many mantras of this band. I'm super stoked to be doing my board to death for EarthQuaker because I need to talk about, you know, the stress of pedals and pedal boards because I'm of an age when I started doing this, you know, it was a big deal to have a flanger when my friend got a yellow Ibanez flanger. And this was something to be worshipped for months at a time. And now there's all these crazy pedal makers and they're, you know, mad scientist geniuses for sure, but coming market-wise, it's a freaky situation for a musician because, you know, we're at late consumer capitalism and we're all getting bombed by way too much stuff all the time. And so the pedal market is no different. So, you know, which delay am I supposed to have? Which delay has the authentic sound? But what if I don't want to sound authentic? But no, I want it to be this kind of authentic, 80s authentic, or, you know, tape slap authentic, or degraded tape slap authentic. Like, it's too much. So there's all kinds of stress when you're trying to make great sounds with your guitar with pedals. So my board, you can see, is kind of a mess. It's not, I've been playing with Social Scene for 20 years. I ought to have a nice board that collapses well and all these guys are underneath and everything looks how it's supposed to look, but I don't because I can never figure out what pedals I'm using. I'm just always at a loss and it's super frustrating. And then these things break. Also another pedal stress is that you work with some pedals and you get a specific sound out of them. And then the other new pedal comes and you want to kind of simplify your situation, but you can't because you can't get rid of certain things because that's the wonderful thing about pedals, whether they're super boutique or they're a plastic piece of shit, is that if you find the magic tone, then that's yours and you keep it. So for me, yeah, so I go in, I use a compressor now in my 50s. Now I'm a compressor guy. So I use it. It's basically on almost all the time. And part of the reason I use it is because this, it goes, how does it even go? It goes into this because I play, on a lot of our recordings, I play an electric Cuban guitar, which is called a tres, and it's got a type of doubling. So this is to fake, because we have too many people and too much gear, so I don't bring my tres on the road. So this is to fake the sound of the tres. It does, look at that, it goes. So that's that guy. It acts better if you feed it a compressed sound. Then I go to where? See, this is what I'm talking about. I'm already confused. Oh, I go into this guy. This memory man, I can't get rid of. It's a delay. It does echo and multi-tap, which lots of other fabulous delays do, but no other delay has been able to figure out to do this. So that thing, I only use it in one song or maybe two, but when I'm trying to be haunting underneath some like kind of propulsive krautrocky groove and it gets like, And depending on how you hit it, it can get more smeary or less smeary. So, can't get rid of that. Just can't. Then I go into this night wire, which is a trip because it has this wonderful self-slowing down quality to it. And that can fake a kind of, so you can use it in a tremolo situation, or you could use it as a kind of in a modulated situation. See, I'm always trying to look for pedals that'll do a couple of different things. So the night wire is kind of it sits well there. Then here's another pedal I can't get rid of, this purple line 6. I wish I could, but it does very important things. Probably the most important thing it does is this one. And then when you add a bit of I mean, you know, if I was in kind of a death metal reggaeton band, but sometimes Social Scene can be a death metal reggaeton band. So that's a great sound. It also does this, which is used a couple of times. Especially with kind of phaser-y thing. And what's the other sound I have? Oh yes, synthesizer, guitar synthesizer, which is sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. If that doesn't work, I use this JHS Muffaletta, I believe it's called. It is, I have sustain up all the way, tone down all the way, in order to try and do, you know, the classic Fripp, Robert Fripp Heroes super sustainy sound. So it does come with a fair amount of that, but if I roll my, that's my tone up, but if I roll my tone down, and I'm feeding it a compressed signal, so I can get, and we throw that on. So it's kind of nice. That's what I use that thing for, because I'm not usually a fuzz dude. Next, the search for distortion overdrive. Some kid in Montreal, where I live, a jazz kid, built me this thing, which is a fake Klon and a fake full-tone OCD together. And I am most frustrated by trying to get a distortion sound that is perfect. And I go back and forth between lots of things, but this has been good for 6 months. I think this is working for my Social Scene setup. This is the Greek pedal maker Jam Pedals, and this is this fabulous vibrato pedal. Well, that's in its chorus mode, so it's famously the chorus that Nels Cline decided was acceptable. It is a beautiful chorus. But I like it for the vibrato, basically. I've got it sped up too much there, but. a beautiful sound. I have this JHS modded EQ for just a little boost. And then this, my favorite, Workman's delay. It has a reverb in it. You guys have seen it a million times. I was rocking my Empress Echo system, but it was too many. This is my problem. With the Echo system, I use it at home and I use it with this other band, La Force, but where my rig is much smaller and I can dedicate more focus to the Echo system. But this is so good for social scene where I need fast. I need to get whatever delay it is, dial it in really quick, just do it. And then this thing, this is saving my life right now. Because this weird little dial lets you choose what the expression pedal does, so that means I can choose many different things it does, but for social scene, for this gig, it works perfectly as fading the mix in. In and out. That means I can have the delay pedal on at all times, and so it's one less pedal move to make because sometimes, you know, you've got to try and do 3 things for the downbeat. So this thing is freaking spectacular. The Avalanche Run is also, it does all kinds of other crazy stuff, but I use it just like I would use the old Boss DD5. The last pedal I go through is my Dr. Science reverberator. And again, to minimize the stress on my mind, I basically only use one setting on this guy and will occasionally crank the mix up when I need to. So I have. But as Brendan said, there's a lot of reverb, so you're supposed to dial that back. And that's my pedals. And I think I got my tone. I think I got it, for now. So thanks for watching this episode of Bored to Death. You saw me, Andrew, and Brendan. Of course, there's Sammy Goldberg, who also plays. And, you know, if Charles Spearin, who's the wizard, if Charles was here, Charles is the first person I ever saw who took a drum machine and ran it through 14 pedals. So he's the pedal guru. But what can I say? He wasn't here. Maybe next time. Thanks a lot.